And the winner of the award for the most valuable athlete and moment, powerhouse, most improved, dream team, goes to...
I was set the challenge of creating the SailGP Awards and thinking about ways we could take into account the digital recognition we had last year for these awards and creating a physical piece of history. The design journey started with taking the inspiration of the design of the F50, all the different angles that are found on the boat, and how we could transform that into a trophy.
I was given some initial sketches, and it was kind of the sort of starting point of the direction that you want to go in. So from that, I took it into my own design process, and I started kind of a 1 to 2 week sketch process, and that's really just refining all the shapes, kind of what the sort of design language around these trophies is. And then from that, it's straight into the 3D CAD software. And from that, you're taking these 2D sketches and you're making a tangible 3D object that you can then put into some kind of production process. And for us here, we rely a lot on 3D printing. And it's a process that I myself am quite heavily involved with. So it seemed like the most natural route to go down. So from that, it's taking that 3D CAD software, putting it into your 3D printer, running this whole production process, and then from that, how can we take this raw 3D print and turn it into something usable? So we can print all of this all in one. It'll all be one piece. And then that mask collar just drops straight back in. Part of the challenge was incorporating an actual piece of the F50 back into the trophies. So we picked up on a set of mask collars that are no longer in use. And the best way of avoiding those, just either going to recycling or going in the bin, was to kind of jump in the chain and use them back into these trophies. So part of the challenge was taking that piece and incorporating it into the base of the trophy.
Creating an award has to be something that feels like the spirit of the sport.
Pure boat speed. Flying too high there. Going to be aggressive here, you can be sure about that.
Pushing him.
By having the carbon fibre plate on the base of the award was a really tangible way of creating that full circle idea.
The material we use here is PLA, which is polylactic acid. It's quite common across like the 3D printing industry, and it's initially derived from fermented starches. So you can get it from corn, milk, all kind of renewable sort of products. We're always trying to look for ways to include sustainability, and this is one of the best ways to do it. Using a bioplastic that, within the right conditions, can be biodegraded. So in theory, you can take these trophies, strip them back, put them in the right conditions, and you return them back to nothing. As soon as you start the 3D print, we go down to 0.12 of a millimetre per layer, and it's putting those layers down over that 15-hour period, and it's building up the inside with infill material. Out of the 3D printer, you get a pretty raw product, especially with kind of the very organic geometry that we chose. You can see all your layer lines, you can see all your support material, and it kind of cuts everything down into more of a sort of geometric shape. So a big obstacle to take was, how do we take that raw 3D print, how do we get something super aesthetic out of it? So that was where all of our painters in-house came in, and for them it was repeated sanding, finishing, priming, and then applying a few layers of high quality paint. And yeah, you can hide a lot of imperfections with a good coat of paint, which they achieved very well.
I think because we are such a young sports league, it's a fantastic opportunity to think about taking these modern organic forms and making sure they really represent that speed and agility and excitement we have in the races.
What a moment, fastest speed in SailGP ever.
I think we're really lucky at SailGP to have access to loads of cool equipment and technology.
I think across a lot of different sports industries, 3D printing is essential, especially with SailGP. When you look at the tech site, you have all these different teams, and they themselves rely on printers because you can produce something that's race ready to an extent within 10, 12 hours. And when you're in a sport where there are mishaps, there are crashes, if you're able to produce a part and then liaise back with the site here, work on an upgrade, get it printed anywhere in the world, it's a pretty good piece of technology.
One of my favourite awards is the Fan Moment Award, because at SailGP we really listen to the fans. We always are looking through our Facebook groups, what our fans are saying, because they're our audience and we want to provide the best watching experience as we can for them. So being able to provide them an award was a really, really cool brief. And because of that, it's on its side and it's got this lovely angle, but there are two main pillars to this. And the idea of this is that as you're passing it to someone, you've both got a side to hold on, just really representing that relationship between the sports league and the fans. These awards are not just beautiful, but they're deeply meaningful, and they show that speed, agility, design, and emotion can beautifully coexist.
I think from the raw product that came out to how they look now, it's night and day. It couldn't be more different. And I think the actual trophies themselves, they're very impressive to look at. I think you can see the F50 in them, and you can see those organic, quite aggressive shapes, and I think they kind of emulate the sort of dynamic nature of the sport. Yeah, I'm super proud of it.
Congratulations, Pete.
Thank you.